Hi everybody, this is Book S Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new Neca Ultimate Universal Monsters TMNT Leonardo as the creature from the Black Lagoon figure. So before we take a look at Leo as the creature, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the numerous accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with this pet turtle here, and this looks very nice. Neca did an incredible job at sculpting and painting this. You can see the texturing here on the skin, as well as some light green paint over the dark green that it's cast in. You get some black painted there for the mouth and the eyes, and you get some really good sculpt detail to the shell here, as well as some light brown paint over top of it. This looks very nice. Kind of would have been nice if this would have been on a ball joint, that way you could move the head, but it's not. But it still looks very good nonetheless. Up next, he comes with a set of relaxed hands. Up next, he comes with a set of these wide open hands, and these are sculpted phenomenally. If you look, even the inside of his hands are sculpted and painted very nicely, as are the webs here between his fingers. That looks very nice. I was surprised at the amount of sculpt detail that's even on the inside of the hand here. Up next, he comes with this bone claw attachment piece. You can attach it to his wrist here, and this is sculpted and painted very well. You can see the texturing on the bones here, has some nice variation there for the nails. That looks really good, but the problem with this is you can't actually get it on his hand properly due to the wrapping here on his wrist. Because of this part that hangs down here, you won't actually get it to set properly the way it should on his hand, and that's a bit irritating. I actually had to boil this just to get it around his wrist here as is. So yeah, you can see that it stops right here where this is hanging down, and it's very loose because of that. So that is unfortunate, because this is a really cool looking piece. And finally, he comes with accessory holding hands and his spear swords, and these look very nice. Neca did a very awesome job at sculpting them. The wood grain is sculpted very nicely. You get some nice light brown paint over top of it. The rope that's sculpted on this is sculpted very nicely. It looks very realistic. Even here on the right one, where you can see that it's unraveling a little bit. You can also see where it looks like the wood broke off here at the bottom. That looks very awesome. On this one you get, I think this is supposed to be a piranha impaled through, and this looks very nice. It's got some very nice texturing to it. The blue fades into this kind of maroon color. That looks very nice. I think these accessories look very awesome. The only downside though is you can't really fit these the best in his netting back here. So this regular one doesn't fit too bad. I just popped the hand off because it's easier to do that in this video. That one doesn't fit in there too bad, but this one won't fit in this larger side, even though it's larger, because of the fish here. So yeah, that is unfortunate that you can't fit this one in here. But I guess if you did want to put the one without the fish in the back here, you can do that. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the head sculpt. This is a very well done head sculpt. Neca did an amazing job at sculpting and painting this. You can see that the base color of dark green is showing through a little bit in the wrinkles here on his forehead, but he has this nice light green paint over top of it. You get some paint variation on the tongue and the lips here. You get some very nice paint here on the gills. It's sort of a bronze type color on the end there, but that looks very nice. You even get a little bit of paint variation here on the bandana. The only downside is it's not articulated like all the previous figures have been, the turtle figures bandanas I should say. It is just sculpted so it'll lay like this and it's not articulated, which I suppose kind of makes sense because it's made to lay just like this on the figure, so if it moved it wouldn't quite look right. So I guess that's not totally an issue. His scales are sculpted phenomenally. They are just done so well, and they have some very nice paint over top of them. The front of his shell here is also sculpted really nicely, but you can see the base color showing through, and I don't think that's supposed to be intentional. This yellowish color really needs a black wash over top of it to bring out all of these details. I like the netting that's around him. You get some hooks here that are painted in this bright silver color. That looks very nice. You can see that there's a little bit of silver color up here by the shoulder piece, so that's a little weird. On the back of his shell here, you see what appears to be some fossilized remains. I really like this detail right here. You can see the creature's hand sculpted back here on the right side, and that looks very awesome. The fins are also painted nicely with that bronze type color right there. He has some texturing to his elbow and knee pads. but they won't go down all the way. That's one of my complaints with the figure. His arms will not go down all the way because they do hit on the shell there. So his arms will always be kind of raised up like that. If these were a softer material, they'd be able to lower just a little bit more, but they can. Some more really crazy sculpt detail and paint down here on the legs. Another of my complaints is these knee pads. These are a separate floating piece right here. So whenever I'm posing the figure around, they're going to go to the side there. I really thought this was a knee joint, but no, there's, if you move it, you see there's no knee piece on this figure at all. It's just this free floating knee pad right here. So that is a bit jarring to move it and see that he has no kneecaps. And he even has some really great sculpt and paint detail down here on his feet. He has some really good paint down here on his feet. You can see that greenish color. He even has some nice paint variation on the nails down here. You can see the sculpted lines on the nails, and it also has a brown wash over top of it. So yeah, that looks very nice. He also has just a little bit of sculpt detail on the bottoms of his feet there. So yeah, Neca really went above and beyond with the sculpt and paint detail on this figure, just like they did with the regular creature from the Black Lagoon. So now let's go ahead and take a look at his articulation. He has a ball-jointed head and neck that can look up all the way. He can't quite look down all the way, but he can move his head side to side very nicely. He has shoulders that don't move out very far. The right side moves out a little more than the left. He has double-jointed elbows, but they can only move in that far because they hit on this elbow pad piece right here. Forearm can move side to side very slightly. He has swivel thrust that can move side to side and up and down, though these feel like they're getting just a little bit loose, because this one especially is really top-heavy, so this hand might get loose after a while if you have it posed up like that. He has what I believe is a ball joint up here in his torso, but it just moves side to side very slightly, no up and down movement at all. He has ball jointed hips that can do a complete split. He can barely kick forward at all. He can't kick back at all because the fins on the back of his thighs here hit on the shell. He has very slight thigh swivel. He has double jointed knees that can only bend in that far. The fins here hit on the thighs just like the thigh ones hit on the shell right here. But he does have excellent ankle joints that can move down all the way, up all the way, and a nice ankle rocker. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to the first movie Leonardo figure. Here he is next to the regular creature from the Black Lagoon. Here he is next to his previous version from the line. And I can definitely say this is probably one of the weakest links in the line so far. This new version just blows the Hunchback version out of the water. Here he is next to Raphael as Frankenstein. And he is getting a redo this year too, and it's going to be Raphael as the Wolfman. I'm really looking forward to that one. I wonder if it can outdo this old version just like Leonardo did. Here he is next to Mikey as the Mummy. Here he is next to Donatello as the Invisible Man. And finally here he is next to Splinter as Van Helsing. So overall, I would highly recommend this because Neca did a phenomenal job on this. Just like the regular creature from the Black Lagoon, this has phenomenal sculpt and paint detail to it. The only drawback, it really is the articulation. The articulation is pretty hindered at points, especially in the arms and there at the knees. But other than that, I think Neca did a very awesome job on this, and this version is far superior to the Hunchback Leonardo. So yeah, definitely pick this up. This is a must-have if you're a fan of this line. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.